to Prattville Primary School. We're going to get started. I have the opportunity to welcome you to Mr. Jim Abraham's Prattville Primary School, and I do want to introduce our school principal, Jim Abraham, and he is glad to have you here. I want to make sure I introduce Mr. Abraham because I have a second grader at this school, and it's very important to keep the principal happy. So I'm blessed that I grew up in Prattville and went to Prattville Primary School in the first, second, and third grades, and back then, in those days, we didn't worry about idling as we do today. I'm also excited, there's several elected officials that I do want to introduce before Mr. Faulkner comes up. I want to introduce Dr. Tom Miller. He has a role in the program, but Dr. Miller is the President Pro Tempore in his second life of our Prattville City Council. Dean Argo is the President of our City Council, and our State Representative, Representative Matt Gipson, is with us this morning, and Superintendent Faulkner will be up in just a moment. I do want to thank you for coming. Anytime that we can showcase our community and our county school system, it's vitally important. No idling. There are several areas in our city that twice a day have a lot of traffic, and those all have schools around them, the school zones. And this afternoon at 2:30, this area, this street right here, will be full of moms and dads waiting to pick up their precious children. And right now, on a perfect day like today, there probably won't be any cars running, but when it's a little bit warmer, a little bit cooler, there's a lot of vehicles that are running. And idling is vitally important. Someone asked me if we've done anything in our city about idling, and I told them that we have a policy on city vehicles are not to idle if they're parked long, except for emergency vehicles, and that was mainly due to high gas prices several years ago. So we have a double positive impact with no idling. At this time, it gives me great pleasure to introduce our school superintendent, Mr. Greg Faulkner.
I would like to reiterate a little bit of what Mayor Byard said. We're very excited to be the first county in this great state to have this initiative, not only citywide, but also throughout our entire county. We have tons of cars and buses that every day in the afternoon we have a lot of traffic. And someone asked me a few minutes ago, doesn't it cost a little bit more gas to do this? Well, possibly so, but gas is not near as important as someone's health. We have a lot of children now that are in our system that are asthmatic and with other lung issues and things like this, so that if we can just help one child to do better when it comes to their health by this campaign, we think it's well worth it. We're very excited that you're here today. We're very excited for our bus department. Mr. Purvis Johnson does a great job with our fleet each and every day. I know Mr. Lightsey is here, and he's his boss. And Mr. Lightsey, I just want to tell you in front of everyone here today what a great job our bus drivers do each and every day. You know that we have one of the best fleets, I think, as far as safety in the entire state. I think also in the entire nation, but now with this, we're also going to have one of the healthiest, I believe, as well. So I'm very excited that you're here today, and thank you so much for supporting our children with this campaign, and anything we can do along these lines, please let us know. Thank you.
To reiterate a couple of things that have already been said. There's two main goals that we look for in this program are the safety of the children. There's no more noble calling for a public servant than to protect the safety of our children. And although we do implement a number of programs to protect the health and safety of the environment and the people of Alabama through the air, land, and water programs, it was very important to us to do a little bit extra and get involved in the no idling campaign, because as we all know, close to 50% of the air pollutants come from tailpipes. So I would like to just point out that was one of our main goals, doing a little bit extra. And the other goal that's very important in government right now is partnering and leveraging your resources. And I would just like to express my thanks on behalf of ADAM to the Department of Public Health, Department of Education, the Autauga County School System, Mayor Byard, and I'd like to point out some folks within ADAM that have done a yeoman's share of work on this campaign. Marilyn Elliott, Sonia Favors, Lynn Roper, and Scott Hughes. Thank y'all for having us up in Prattville, and we appreciate your participation.
with the State Health Department, and the other is that I am the City Councilman here in District 4.
Have I got the wrong thing? I'm talking into. Y'all shouldn't have told me. You'd be better off. I'm Tom Miller. I wear two hats today. I am with the State Health Department as one of the Assistant State Health Officers, and I also am City Councilman here in Prattville for District 4. In the Health Department, I have the asthma program, which Heidi Hadaway and her staff kind of head up, and they are the true entity in the Health Department that has partnered with the Alabama Department of Environmental Management and the State Department of Education, all of which, or many of which, have their local counterparts to bring about this important step in terms of addressing a key health issue. When you look at the number of children that have asthma or asthma-related conditions, it's somewhere around 13 to 14%. And things like second-hand smoke, things like emissions from vehicles that are idling can certainly exacerbate that and cause an asthmatic attack in a child. So this is one of those things that to us is largely a no-brainer in terms of trying to address a place where a lot of children are concentrated, a lot of cars and buses can be present, and can expose those children to some of the emissions that can trigger asthmatic attacks. And you got to keep in mind, children compared to adults, although this is also an issue that impacts adults, children, based on the science, are kind of shorter, and they're at a level that's going to even get more exposure than would be most of the folks here who are taller. So there's a lot of pieces to this, and at the end of the day, I think this is a true partnership that is going to make a difference in Autauga County, and hopefully as it spreads across the state in the lives of children statewide. So I appreciate everybody being here today, especially my program staff, the asthma folks. Thank you, Heidi.
Dr. Miller was talking to me when he was talking about the short folks. I guess I've got another reason now for being particularly appreciative of the No Idling campaign. But I want you to know that before I really say anything else, this has been an effort of an awful lot of people. I'm not going to try to name any names today, but I do, on behalf of Dr. Morton, State Superintendent of Education, want to thank the Department of Health and the Department of Environmental Management for asking us to partner with them. And I also want to thank the Autauga County Schools, but want you to know that this program has already been disseminated to all schools in the state of Alabama, and that's a big part of the reason why we're here today. So the signs are going to be going up on the campuses. You've seen them on this campus today, and they'll be going up on all the campuses across the state. But this No Idling campaign is going to not only improve the health of our students and our staff on campus and people that are coming on our campuses, but it's also going to help save us some money. You know, every day I think that we see on TV or we read in the paper or we hear on the radio, we hear things that we say, well, I really can't do anything about that. This is something that we can do something about. We can make better, and all we have to do is just turn our engine off. We're communicating that to all of our school bus drivers in the state and trying to be sure that they understand that. Buses nowadays, we've got about 7,500 of them that are going on campuses twice a day, and that's a lot of emissions. That's a lot of fuel savings if they'll turn those engines off. But we started back in 2005, actually, with a campaign out of Clean Air America to get bus drivers to know that they needed to shut the engines off. I don't know if you know or not, but Alabama has one of the newest bus fleets in the nation. 95% of Alabama's buses are 10 years old or less. And again, I'm not a mechanic, but I can tell you that newer buses have more energy efficient engines and more air friendly engines. So we've already done things, and for Representative Gipson's here today, thank our legislature and others that may be here from the legislature for making sure that Alabama had newer buses to put on the road. So we're one of about 4 states in the nation that gets a good rating on our buses and what they do to air quality, because diesel engines do emit a lot of soot and other things, particulates and all of that. But one of the other benefits that we can get from this, just by turning the ignition off, is saving money. You know, we figure it's going to be probably over $100 a year that we'll save per bus just by bus drivers reducing the idling by turning that engine off. So I do want to thank everybody for being here today, and again, on behalf of Dr. Morton, we appreciate the effort that's being initiated by the Department of Environmental Management and also Public Health. And again, we really do appreciate partnering with them and with the schools in the state of Alabama to improve air quality and save a little money at the same time. Thank you very much.
Before we conclude, I'm going to ask State Representative Matt Gipson to come up. We did not put him on the agenda because, as you know, there's a few things going on in Montgomery these days that keeps him very busy, but we're going to ask him to come up and say a few words right quick, like.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, on the way to represent you in Montgomery, but I had to stop by here. I too, like the mayor, have a vested interest. I have a grandson in Miss Sislow's 2nd grade here, and Mr. Abraham runs a wonderful school here. He has benefited so much for the time that he's been here. And, you know, usually when you think of regulatory agencies, which ADM, Health, all are regulatory agencies, you think of what they are doing punitive. But here, they are doing, and they have to do that. That's part of their mantra, that they make sure that people are staying in line in those areas. But here, what they're doing is preventive. And it does my heart so much good to see that working so that our children, in my case, my grandchildren, great-grandchildren, will be able to enjoy a much cleaner atmosphere than I probably did. Thank y'all very much for coming. Thank all of you guys for participating.
We have a little time for questions, and of course you'll be afforded some time after the event here to get one-on-one with the participants. But right quick, I would like to ask the participants to come up so maybe we can get a group photo up here. And then if we have any questions from any of the media, we can certainly answer any questions at that time.
Are there any questions? Okay, thank you.